Hello and welcome to today's edition of Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. I'm Les Winston, and I am a Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy, a CAP. You may not be familiar with what a CAP is, but a Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy has the knowledge of the tax code with regard to certain sections that can help you do amazing things with your financial planning. I serve in the capacity as the chairman and president of the Endow America Network Foundation. And in that capacity, I have the pleasure of working with donors and contributors who want to make themselves more financially sound. They would like to be able to use the sections of the tax code that are available to them to make their lives easier. Taxes are not around forever. They haven't been around for the entire time that the United States has been in existence. There have been taxes that were the cause of the revolution, and there are taxes today that could cause a revolution because they're being used to take funds from you and give them to non-governmental organizations. And that's a problem. I don't think that the federal government should be taking tax dollars and using them to support non-governmental organizations. The reason that the tax code was written the way it was to create more charitable wealth in the country. Taxes are dealt with in very different ways. The Honorable Learned Hand said that you're not duty-bound to pay the most tax that the law extracts. You have the right and privilege to reduce your taxes as much as legally possible. And the problem is that most people don't know how to reduce their taxes legally, other than what their accountants tell them, and their accountants do a very good job of reporting for them, but they don't necessarily give the taxpayer all of the information that's available to them with regard to tax savings. They do talk about the IRA, and they talk about a 401k, and they will talk about 529, but generally speaking, they don't get very involved in the sections of the tax code that we call social security. Social security is a term that combines social security and charity. And it is very similar to Social Security because it is a means for you to create income for retirement purposes, income for later in life, income that you want to rely on. The same way that Social Security does, except that it is more individually tailored. It's tailored to your own situation, whereas Social Security is a broad program that is tailored to everybody's needs on the same basis. You have the right to be individually sound. You have the right to be individually financially sound. And in order to do that, you need to learn about tax implications at certain times. When I look at taxes, I think about taxes as to how are you taxed? Are you taxed when you earn income? Yes. Are you taxed when you make capital gain on investments? Yes. Are you taxed on your assets when you pass? Yes. Those are all taxes that are created by your affluence, by your ability to make either earnings or investment returns. And at the end of the day, the government takes another bite of the apple. You can eliminate those bites of the apple just the way the wealthy, the ultra wealthy in the country have been doing it for many years. And that is using sections of the tax code, the Social Security sections of the tax code. Again, these are sections that can produce income, but they are also a means to avoid taxation. You know, for many years I had a radio program called Funny Money. That program was based on the game of Monopoly, and if you know the game of Monopoly, you travel on the board and you lose when the other player has all your money. When you're bankrupt, that's the end of the game. And I was playing that game with my nephew, and he said, you know what, he had all the money. He had bankrupted me. He had built his hotels and his houses, and I landed on all his properties, and it was all gone. And he had it all, and I said, what are you going to do with that money? And he said, what can I do with it, Uncle Les? And I said, you got to put it back in the box. He said, why is that? I said, because it's funny money. You can't do anything with that funny money. You can't go out and buy anything with it because nobody's going to take it. I thought about that for a second. I said, suppose I gave you 25 cents of real money for every dollar of that funny money. How much would you give me? He said, hey, I'll give it all to you. Everybody says the same thing when I ask that question because it's like getting something for nothing. So the point is that you can convert tax dollars, which are considered, I think, funny money by a lot of people, into real dollars. And you do that by using Social Security. Now, we've created a formula, which is Social Security is 664, section of the tax code 664, equals E squared, where E is endowment squared. Endowment is a very interesting term. Most people, when they hear the word endowment, they think about charitable endowment, endowing a charity. But endowment really started early on with the people buying their own endowment. The life insurance industry was based on selling endowment contracts. My father, at an early age, used to take me with him to see clients. He was in the insurance business, and he would sell endowments at 65. And those endowments at 65 meant that you put the money into something for a long period of time, and at age 65, you get the endowment. You get the amount of money that you created by putting that money into that account. And that was a way of providing for retirement. That benefit, endowment, is something that we've kind of lost track of. You can endow yourself. You can make yourself have an endowment, and you can do that by creating more assets in your benefit, to your benefit, that can produce an income. Because endowment is an income, a long-term supporting, consistent, permanent income. That's what the benefit that's a benefit that you can create using Social Security devices. It's very important because you eliminate those taxes. You can eliminate the tax to a good degree on what you earn if you use Social Security properly. You can eliminate capital gains tax on the growth of assets if you use Social Security properly. You can eliminate estate tax if you use Social Security properly. And how do you do that? Well, you do that by working with advisors who know how to use those sections of the tax code, and that's why they created a designation at the American College, which is called the Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy designation, and that CAP designation means that you have gone through the courses necessary to be able to use Social Security devices properly, to advise people like yourself how to benefit from tax avoidance, legitimate tax avoidance. Again, you're not duty bound to pay the most that the law extracts. You have the right and privilege to reduce your taxes as much as legally possible. And the Honorable Learned Hand also said there are two tax codes in the country, one for the informed and one for the uninformed. So there are a lot of devices in the tax code, a lot of sections in the tax code that'll help you eliminate tax, in addition to Social Security, and we talked about them on one of the previous shows. Those are sections like 401k, or the sections about 529, or the section 1031 or 1035. Those are sections that allow you to create a lower tax environment. And they're done for the social purpose of improving the economy, of improving your personal economy. So why should you do this? Why should you be looking at this type of planning when you are going through your own financial plan for your financial well-being? The reason for doing it is that you can get more out of your assets if you don't have to pay tax. There's more for you. There's less tax to pay, and that means there's more for you, either to spend or to leave or to use for income purposes. Social Security devices are 664 is the primary one that we talk about because I want you to get those numbers. 664, that's a really important set of numbers. It's like the 401k, it's like 529, but 664 has more power than either of those because it allows you to do an unlimited amount of planning for you on an individual basis. And that's the creative work that's done by professional philanthropic advisors. If you work with a professional philanthropic advisor, they will help you create a program, a plan that allows you to reduce your taxes legally, which allows you to get more assets to work for you, that allows you to get more income that you'll be able to spend later in life. Those are all extremely powerful objectives that you want to attain. I want to take a short commercial break. We're going to be back with you in a flash and see you soon. So my next guest is a brand new member of the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce, and we love to welcome new members, and we want to find out a lot more about you as time goes on. But give us a brief thumbnail sketch. With my guest is Dr. Luis Martinez. He is the medical director of a very interesting organization which does rebuilding bodies, right?
Hi there. So yeah, basically, I mean, we're a clinic. We do longevity and anti-aging medicine, regenerative medicine. I've been in the field for the past 15, 16 years. I have multiple clinics across Puerto Rico, the US, and internationally. And yeah, it's basically about looking for ways to restore function, fight aging, and just bring back health and wellness for patients.
And is it a painful experience, or
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
is there surgery involved, or is it do you work with the body to use the
Yeah,
homeostasis?
these are not, I mean, not surgical approaches, minimally invasive. We use multiple different treatment approaches, hormone replacement therapy, nutrition, intravenous nutrition, peptide therapeutics, which is a very hot thing right now, xenotherapeutics, senolytics, nutraceuticals, and stem cells and platelet-rich plasma, regenerative medicine approaches. So it's multiple things that we're doing to really just stimulate repair processes, help turn back the clock, and just make patients feel better.
How long can people live?
It's interesting. Before, we used to think that there was a maximum lifespan of about 120 years. I think right now we can go beyond that. I think people can honestly live more than 120 years. And what's really important is that not only do they live more, but live healthier. That's what we call the actual health span. So, from your maximum lifespan, how many of those years are you going to be healthy? That's what we're looking for. But overall, I think we're doing a lot of really great advances in longevity medicine. People will live, I'm pretty sure will live beyond 120 and will be healthy.
So it's body rejuvenation.
The clinic is called Body Rejuvenation. I mean, I think, the name might be a little misleading because it's not only aesthetics. We do a lot of things internally to address cellular aging and really turn back the clock. So it's a combination of things that we do here.
And it's interior. It's not you're not sculpting. You're not.
Well, I mean, we do both.
Surgery.
It's not plastic surgery, but no, but we do facial aesthetics. So we do facial aesthetics. We do body contouring too. So we definitely do that aesthetic external approach. But again, we always try to combine it for maximal results.
How long does it generally take to get results? Utilizing the
different approaches. Different approaches. It really depends on the patient and the expectations. But usually when we start patients on treatment programs, within the first few weeks they start seeing results. And obviously as time builds up, it's pretty quick. But I mean, there's some results that'll take time. Some of them are just faster. But again, it's a combined approach that'll maximize what we're doing.
And how long does it take to find out what a patient needs to rejuvenate, or is the same thing true with everybody?
No, it's a very personalized approach. So we need to do multiple testing, labs, evaluation. Once we look at that, we see where the patient is deficient, what they need, what we need to focus on. I mean, again, first few weeks to figure out what's going on and start a treatment program, and then we follow up regularly from there.
Body Rejuvenation in Aventura, Florida, yes, or you're in Hallandale?
Well, in Hallandale. We're Body Rejuvenation.
You're on Biscayne. You're on US 1, I believe. Is that right?
Federal Highway.
My guest is the medical director, Dr. Luis Martinez.
Yes.
You the founder?
I'm not. I'm the founder of other clinics. I'm medical director for BR here for Body Rejuvenation.
Okay, great.
All
so
right.
we hope listen. If you need some help with the way you look and you don't like the way you look, go see Dr. Martinez.
There we go. It's about healing and repair. So definitely internal, external, it goes hand in hand.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today on Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. And we hope that you're very successful. The Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce welcomes you as a new member. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Good job, Wanda. So look, if you can live for 140 years, you got to make sure you have enough money, because that's one of the reasons why people pass. There are 3 reasons. People run out of life, they run out of purpose, they run out of friends and family, and they run out of money. And one of the things that we want to do with social charity is make sure you never run out of money. It's really important. It's an important part of life. And you can do much better things with your assets when you use social charity devices, and you can make sure you don't run out of money. We're joined now by Wanda.
Hey.
How are you, Wanda?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Longevity is cool.
Yes.
And if you go to our Facebook page, I've been discovering some wonderful longevity, just people now living 100, 102. I have a woman on there from 100, that's 102, and her life secrets. And
what is her life secret?
100. She's very spiritual.
Yeah.
She's very and I remember I want to find it again. The island. There's an island in Greece. I want to say maybe it's Santorini. I'm not sure.
Santorini, yeah.
But
Okay.
there's that may not be one. That just may be the place to go
Yeah.
if you're in Greece.
If you like donkeys.
But the folks there live well. Many of them live over 100, and I believe there's some wine involved.
I think it's a Mediterranean diet. I think.
Yeah, something like that. But good living,
Yeah.
good community. And when you were talking about, you run out of people, and
Yes.
Community is definitely a good part of that for
Yes.
them.
Being kind to each other too. Kindness.
Yes.
Human kindness is very important for longevity. It makes you feel better about things. Your health is much more, like calming. You know that you're doing the right thing. You're helping people when they are in need, and that helps you as well. And it's one of the things that we really focus on with the Endow American Network Foundation. We want to make you happy. We want to make you feel good about things. And you can do that by helping others.
And listening to the radio station,
Yes.
Route664.org.
Are you familiar with that?
I am. Now, I wanted to ask you some
Sure.
questions while we're on that
Absolutely.
mode. What made you choose charitable planning? People don't know your story.
Actually, it goes back to when I was about 7 years old.
Ooh, I think I know this story.
And I can remember it like it was yesterday. I just finished playing ball in our community. I lived in the Bronx, and I was walking home, and it started to rain. It was the time of year, I think it was like late August, and it was kind of late in the day, and it was raining those huge raindrops, the ones that splat. And I was running home, and I got to the front porch, and there was a lady standing on my front porch, and she said, "Can you help me?" I don't know who this woman was. I never saw her before. And I said, "What do you want?" She says, "I need an umbrella. I have to walk all the way home. I'll bring it back to you." I said, "Okay." So I went upstairs, and I went into my apartment, and I got an umbrella. My mother said, "Where are you going?" Before I could even answer, I walked out. And then I was bringing the umbrella downstairs, and I said, "How do I know this woman's going to bring me back the umbrella? You know what? I'll help her. I'll walk her with the umbrella." So that's what I did. I started walking her to where she lived, and I didn't know how far she lived. And the community that I lived in was kind of a very, it was a group of houses that were built by Metropolitan Life, a group of apartment buildings, and it was like almost like a gated community without gates, but we couldn't walk on the grass. They had chains around the grass, and everything was in that community, but I'd never been out of that community much, and I always was concerned because I had heard stories about people who walked out of the community and they got their legs broken. So I was very, very kind of apprehensive about walking with this lady as far as we were walking. We were walking and walking and
you
walking.
were 7?
And I was 7 years old, and I wasn't thinking about the tip as much as I was thinking about how am I going to get home. So what happened was we got to her destination. She gave me a peck on the cheek,
Wow.
and she said, "Thank you very much." And
Was
I
that
started
your
walking
tip?
back home. That was my tip. But it was interesting because walking home, I remember thinking to myself, "You really did something good for that lady. You did a nice thing and made me feel really good." And when I got home, of course, my mother said, "Where were you? What did you do?" And I said, "I took this lady with an umbrella." She said, "You're crazy." My mother wasn't very charitable at that time. So I was. And that's the start of kind of how I felt about doing things that were good for people. And then I was, I'm a graduate of the University of Miami with a Bachelor of Science in Biology and a minor in Chemistry. which absolutely has nothing to do with what I do, except that it gives me an opportunity to think about things on a more scientific basis. And I was actually pre-med for a long time. My plan was to become a physician. And my father sat me down one day and he said, you know what? He says, you can be a physician in different ways. You can help people financially and be a doctor that way. And that's kind of where this whole thing came about, becoming more in line with what people need and what people need to have done, and helping them solve their problems was one of the things that was most important to me. And the thing that we've created with the Now American Network Foundation is a means to solve problems for a lot of people. And we hope that this will be a national objective for people to change the way they view their taxes, the way they view their own charitable giving, and to improve the use of social security devices, because they're designed to create more charitable wealth in the country. And that's my story. And I'm sticking to it.
Before you veer off too far, why did you choose the American College?
It was the only one that would have the only one that had a chartered advisor in philanthropy designation. They were the ones that created that. They created that really because there was an outcry from financial advisors who had gone through a series of training sessions with a company called Renaissance, going back 30 years. They would bring in financial advisors from all over the country and teach them how to use charitable remainder trusts in planning. That's section 664, how to use 664 in planning, and how to create those trusts. There are a lot of different flavors. There's a lot of different varieties. So you need to make sure that when you do this kind of work with a charitable trust, that you do it the way that's most beneficial for your situation. And everybody's different. It all depends on where you are in the game. But the use of these trusts is very complex in a lot of ways, because you have to know how the trust needs to be drawn. You have to put certain provisions in the trust that make it more appropriate for yourself. And so that group of people, the people that went through that Renaissance, there's about 1,500, I think, at the end of the day, they wanted to make sure that there was a way to evaluate the ability of somebody to utilize this section of the tax code so that people weren't being misled, they weren't given the wrong information, it was being done properly. And so they created a test that we were using to test the knowledge of the advisors. And then the American College, through a grant from Bill and Sally Wallace. Bill Wallace was an insurance agent who understood that it was important for there to be a communication between the charitable world and the advisory world with regard to how to create these devices. So that was the impetus that created the Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy course at American College. And that has produced about 2,000, I think at this point, 2,000 chartered advisors in philanthropy around the country. We have a council of professional philanthropic advisors on our website at socialcharity.org, socialsecharity.org, where you can find an advisor that can help you do this kind of planning. It's very important to have the right advisor. So when we talk about the American College, you can find out more information by going to their website, American College, finding out about the Chartered Advisor in Philanthropy designation, and we encourage you to do that. If you're a professional, you want to be a professional in an area that is a great niche right now for people, and it's very important because the more charitable wealth there is in the country, it may help to reduce our national debt, which is, of course, a problem that everybody has. So individually, you can do something to change things by helping people individually change their lives and do something to create human kindness, the road to human kindness. So 664, the road to human kindness. That's where it comes from.
Easy.
Yeah.
Route664.org. That's our radio station. And we have great music for you to get your mood. I like to raise your vibration. That's what I like to call it. Raising your vibration station. Hey. Or your dopamine station. Hey. So
it's good to work on the weekends if you're cleaning your house. It's good to listen to the station, but of course also during the week. And you can get it anywhere. You can get it right in your car.
Yes.
Listen while you're driving.
App coming soon to a phone near you.
Absolutely. We're going to have a little app, right?
A little app.
A little
it's going to be a big app.
So you have questions for me today?
No, those were the questions.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
wanted to dig into the reason that you're here and why you're doing this and why this means so much to you, because I think people need to understand your passion.
Yes, and
A little bit.
we hope that you will take advantage of what we're talking about. And this is something that you can take advantage of regardless of how old you are or where you are in the game. Becoming more, involved in the community. Volunteering is a form of philanthropy. It doesn't cost you anything to volunteer except your time, and it's very rewarding. It's kind of like the way I volunteered to take that lady with the umbrella, and I did that when I was 7. You can volunteer and do a lot of things no matter what age you are, and we want you to become more involved in your community, become more attached to the community, and by doing that, you're going to become more effective. You're going to have a better chance in the future of becoming successful because the training that you get to do those things is unique. And you can also try and find the thing that you really like to do. If you like pets, if you want to work with pets, you go
Yay.
volunteer at the Humane Society or
FOMA, Friends of Miami.
Friends of
Animals.
Miami Animals. Is it Miami Animals?
Friends,
Yeah.
great friends.
So we have a lot of ways that you can get involved, regardless of whether you're wealthy or not, whether you're affluent or not. When you're working and you're making more than you're spending and you can afford to put money aside, you can also use social charity devices at that point. You can put in small amounts a year and create a fund that will endow you at a later point in life, and a fund that you cannot lose, a fund that can't be taken away from you. Creditors can't take it, a bad marriage can't take it, all the things that bad things can't take it. And it's a good way for you to build whatever it is that you want to build for yourself. And you can do that using not only money, but you can also use assets that you've purchased and that you've been successful with. If you buy a stock and the stock goes up, when you sell it, you have that taxable gain, and you can avoid that taxable gain by using social charity devices. The other thing you may have is real estate. If real estate is part of your investment future and part of your investment portfolio, you need to know that you can change your real estate without using a 1031 or without using an installment sale. You can avoid taxes, and you can make the change to a charitable remainder trust or a charitable pooled income fund or a charitable gift annuity. Any of those will help you avoid tax, get income that you create for the future in any amount that you want to create. There's no limitation on it. If you want to create $10 million a year in income, you could do it. There's no limitation like there is in Social Security. So you have really an unlimited resource to build whatever it is that you want to build with whatever you have to build it. Teddy Roosevelt said, use what you have, use what you have where you are to whatever degree you can. I think he said something like that. But
it sounds good.
Yeah, I thought so. Teddy Roosevelt, carry a big stick.
Oh, I heard a great quote the other day that goes, it's not about the money, it's about the richness.
Okay.
It's the richness of life that you want. And that's what you're looking for. And if you can accumulate the money and then pass it on or leave it. It's not even about passing it on. It's just leaving it behind because you can't take it with you.
Very important, Wanda, is the wisdom that's coming out of your learning about what we're doing is really quite fascinating.
I've always had a love for humanity.
You're becoming an expert in philanthropy, which is a good thing. And we want more experts in philanthropy. So if you really want to find out more about this and you want to get involved in how to become a philanthropic advisor, you can go to our website and learn more about it there at socialcharity.org. You can also tune into the radio presentations that we've done in the past where we've interviewed people who are philanthropic planners or people who are philanthropic advisors, people who are philanthropists, and get an idea of what they think about how to help humanity and to become more kind to everybody. That's at route664.org.
You ever just want to tune out the world and relax? Then you've come to the right place. At route664.org, we've got great music that will keep you entertained for hours and uplifting conversation that will make you feel good about yourself and the world. So come on in and take a load off. We won't judge here. route664.org.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, headaches, anxiety, depression, sleep disorders, hormone imbalances, ADHD, or any other condition that's disrupting your quality of life? With the Body Chem program, you can feel better than you have in years. We'll test you for nutritional and chemical imbalances and design a specific dietary plan for your individual needs. Everything we do is natural, and you won't be subjected to invasive procedures and harsh pharmaceuticals. When you're healthy, you're happy. Why wait? Call today.
We've got best-selling authors.
You are going to start to uncover all the layers that are covering your genius.
And some of the world's top leadership experts.
We have structured a mastermind program that is very unusual and it is very powerful.
Robin Sharma at noon.
Your creativity will soar, your productivity will be epic, your impact will be legendary, you will be the best in the business, and you will not only achieve remarkable things, but you're going to feel sunsets. You'll feel a connection to people. You'll feel for what's going on in the world, and that will make you a world changer in your own unique way.
Robin Sharma at noon at 4 p.m.
It's a
Blaine Bartlett.
exploration of what it takes to be a highly effective leader in today's fast-changing environment.
Best-selling author, executive, and leadership coach.
And if you've been liking what you've been listening to on these Soul of Business podcasts, how does one become a leader that can keep connection to the soul of business?
Blaine Bartlett at 4 p.m.
Look forward to seeing you there.
at Route664.org. This is Route 664 Radio.